Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Wilhelm Scream, and welcome back to another day in Destiny 2 for some more Destiny 2 news and Witch Queen Season of the Risen intel. And in this video, I'm going to be going through this week's Grandmaster Nightfall, which is the LIGHTBLADE strike. It's the first time we've had this strike in rotation, and it is one of the more difficult ones. Maybe you're going for your Conqueror Seal, or maybe you're trying to gild that Conqueror Seal, or maybe you're just going for one of the adept weapons available through the Grandmaster this week. In any case, I have some really interesting glitches and cheeses that will help anybody, even if they're trying to attempt this in a group at Grandmaster, solo on a lower difficulty, or possibly even solo on a Grandmaster, as crazy as that might sound. The first one is an out-of-bounds skip glitch. This is for the first section. You can actually get a joining allies doing this, so it's really probably the most helpful if you're doing it in a group. I'm not sure if you're going for a solo run, how viable this might actually be, but in any case, you want to go out of the map above that big column you see in the first room. Make your way down through to this checkpoint. You'll load in right as you sort of hug the wall here to the Temple of the Navigator, and then if you turn left and move down this ledge and then over to this ledge, you will get a joining allies. It is important for your allies to actually progress in order to actually use this well, but it might be helpful for speed runs, especially ones at lower difficulty like Master if you're just trying to farm some materials. The next one is for one of, if not the most tricky sections of this particular strike, the actual, I call it the trees area, but it's where you'll get the weight of darkness. You have a lot of enemies in this area and a lot of the exploding firefly thingies, as I like to call them. I'm not sure what the technical name is. Before that, you actually have this sort of plate area where you have to ride on this barge. I actually, for the last section where you get all the thrall, jump up onto the top ledge to the farthest wall overlooking the barge. That'll let you take out most of the thrall without actually having to stand on the barge itself. But then once you get to this area where the barge exits and goes outside, as I said, if you drop down, you will get Weight of Darkness, thus making you move quite a bit slower. However, if you have a Titan or Warlock in your group, they can either super like I did, but that was just kind of for the sake of the video. Heat Rising will make this jump over through all of these trees, which you can actually climb on top of and avoid the entire Weight of Darkness altogether. Now, this is good if you're doing it in a group or solo. However, if you are doing this solo, you will have to backtrack at a certain point, though you will not have any Weight of Darkness once you actually go through the barrier at the end. So if you are doing it in a group, you would send one person through and then have your teammates follow up without having to worry about Weight of Darkness. If for any reason you do happen to fall off of the tree while you're trying to traverse to the actual load zone or the next portal zone, you can actually use a sword if it is one that you want to have equipped. I know that most people might not want a sword as they're heavy. To actually traverse through the Weight of Darkness zone fairly easy simply by jumping and swiping. It'll actually allow you to move through that whole bit faster. But I would just try to stay on top of the trees for as far as you can till you get towards the portal. Even if you fall a little bit short, it'll be a lot more beneficial than having to run through this whole section altogether. And as you see, once you hit this zone, I actually had bypassed the portal altogether on this run. The Weight of Darkness will disappear. If you go too far forward, you will get a joining ally, so just make sure you sort of hug where the portal actually meets the road here. Now, everything else is going to be for the actual boss fight, which can be a little bit tricky, though. This boss is sort of a roaming boss that well, we've learned in the past that roaming bosses are not always the smartest. So there's a fairly easy cheese for this boss that revolves around having one person simply jump back and forth on the middle plate to one of the edges. This will keep the boss moving, and instead of attacking, he'll just try to continually follow the person who has the aggro by jumping back and forth like you see here. And this makes it really easy not only for the person, if you are doing a solo run, to do damage to the boss while he's jumping, but also your teammates will have all the time in between to actually get this boss weared down to the manageable level. Another little spot that I actually found works really good if you are doing this solo is to jump up on one of these top ledges. And I was using a grenade launcher and noticed that if you don't do any direct damage to the boss, meaning if you actually bounce one of the grenades off of a wall before it hits him, this might actually be a really good method if you're using Wither Horde, that he will not actually aggro to the point where he moves forward into the hallway and continues to attack you. So he'll just stand right where he is and continue to take damage like you see here. If you do too much damage, or at least too much direct damage to him, he will move and actually start to shoot you. But this might be a slow but effective method in just wearing down the boss till the very end. Or, if you're with teammates, maybe keep one person here. If you're going for maybe a flawless run, this is a good place to hide without having to worry about the boss or the ads really in this area. As you can see, he might actually move forward a little bit, but one more shot just sort of confuses him. Maybe he's thinking that he's actually taking damage from the wall, and he'll actually move back to the same spot that he was at the beginning. And that's going to be it for all the information in today's video. Hopefully you found something in this video helpful. A lot of these methods are fairly new, so I would suggest go and try them maybe on a lower difficulty Nightfall, or maybe just in the normal strike before you actually attempt them in a Grandmaster, as nobody wants to ruin a Grandmaster Nightfall while attempting something new. But overall, I think most of these will be fairly effective and help some players, if not maybe many players, actually get this particular Grandmaster done fairly easily. I think this actually makes it one of the less difficult Grandmasters, and it is a fairly short strike, which actually can help. So I think doing these things properly might actually contribute to this being a very efficient farm as far as Grandmasters are concerned. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and turn on all the post notifications, that bell that's right next to the big red subscribe button, so you don't miss any more Destiny 2 content. You can also follow me on Instagram or Twitter. They'll be linked in the description box down below, or leave a comment or any of the hashtags listed directly beneath this video in the comment section down below. Any of the things I just mentioned also enter you into any future giveaways on this YouTube channel. We do one every 1,000 subscribers. We're doing a Witch Queen Seasonal Pass Deluxe giveaway. If you don't have Witch Queen, this might come in handy. And as always, I am Wilhelm Scream. Thanks again once more. And of course, we will see you next time. Later.